Hello, Mr. Hashim.
Hi, good morning.
How was your childhood?
I had a happy childhood. Um, I had the opportunity to travel quite a bit because my father's work as a diplomat required us to live in different countries. So, um, though I attended some American schools, all of them were English-speaking schools, and it was an enriching childhood. I had a happy childhood, really.
Did you face any obstacles as a child?
I can't say that I faced any obstacles. I mean, I wasn't always a good student when I was, especially in middle school. If I liked the subject matter, I would apply myself and do well. But if I didn't, there wasn't much that my parents could do to kind of motivate me. It was only when I was in junior high that I started to get self-motivated, and then I became a good student. But I don't think I faced any obstacles except my own uh, lapses in motivation and focus.
Who was an important person in your life?
Really, in all fairness and honesty, I would have to say that my parents were strong figures in my life. From my father, I would say that I learned how to get along with people. He was a diplomat, so I think some of that kind of rubbed off on me. Um, how to how to, I guess, view alternatives in life to different situations. As far as my mother, I think the goal-oriented work ethic was something that I got from her. I also had a coach when I was in middle school that was actually also a family friend, but I think I learned a lot of important sort of life lessons, axioms or something, axioms of life from him. Um, he was kind of a guiding figure, I think. And I think that's one of the things that helped me make the transition from being a very unfocused student to someone who was more focused and more motivated.
What important lessons have you learned in your life?
Well, I think one important lesson that I've learned is that if you have goals that you want to achieve, you can't give up, and you have to understand that a lot of times you're not initially successful. You have to be able to accept um, initial failure and keep on, persevering, pressing on if you want to achieve the things that you set out to achieve. And the other half of that equation is you have to set goals. You can't sort of wander or drift, you know. And I think all of us at some point in our lives do a bit of drifting, but you need to stay focused, you need to set goals, and you need to keep on striving towards those goals.
What inner obstacles did you face in your life?
Yeah, again, I think it was my own lapses in focus and motivation that were things that I faced and continue to face. I mean, I think that's something that all of us have to deal with. Those are probably the only inner obstacles that I've had to deal with.
What were the kind of friends? What were the kind of people you were friends with?
I hung out with smart people. I did a lot of reading when I was a kid, and I think that helped me, both my command of the language as well as my academics in general. And I like to hang out with people that I could sort of share intellectual uh, ideas or notions with. I didn't hang out with thugs or vulgar people, you know. Um, some of my friends were athletic. I was moderately athletic. I never was a star athlete. Um, some of them were non-athletic, but I think all what they shared in common was they were smart and they liked adventure, which is kind of how I was.
Uh, what kind of important advice have you given before?
I think the only recent advice that I see has had a difference in someone's life was recently a young man who was a high school graduate who had spent several years working as a cashier for Kroger and was trying to get on with his life as far as go to college and so forth. And no one had sat down and told him how to get from point A to point B as far as doing his college or university training. And I sat down with him and gave him some ideas. I myself have several graduate degrees, and I used to teach math at the college level myself. So I had some good advice I could give him just based on experience, and it was an eye opener for him. And apparently I didn't, I found out recently that he really has gone on with his life, and he went ahead and got his scholarships or financial aid or whatever lined up, and he's going to school and so forth. And I feel that was something that I could pass on that was helpful to someone.
Um, what obstacles did you face as in your career, like Air Force or PM?
Yeah, so I served in the military, and I think an issue, I won't say it was an obstacle, an issue that I faced sometimes was trying to align my personal goals with the goals of the military. Because the thing of it is, I mean, a lot of times you might find yourself in a particular position or slot that may not have been your first choice. And the important thing is to make the best of that experience as you go through it. So that was an issue that I faced with my military time. Um, as far as my present work as an engineer with GM, let me just put it this way: I like the science of what I do, which is engine design, a lot more than I like some of the aspects of the corporate environment. And that's no one in particular's fault. It's just the way it is. So I have found that I've needed to uh, put all the more emphasis in my love of the science of designing engines, and try and de-emphasize some of the not so desirable aspects of the work environment.
What steps should one take at life?
Uh, what steps should one take at life? Well, like I said, you need to set goals. You need to stay focused. You need to be able to accept initial lack of success as something other than, a failure that is terminal, that terminates your effort. You know, um, try and live a meaningful life. It doesn't mean that you have to be a Nobel Prize winner or an Olympic athlete. Try to bring something good to your own life, to your community. Try to be good and kind to people. That's what I would say are. That's the way that I try to approach life.
What is your definition of a successful person?
Again, someone who is successful is someone who lives a meaningful life, who contributes something to the world. You know, even if you just take the effort to raise a family, and you raise children who go on to become productive and happy people. That to me is a successful life. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to amass wealth or become famous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.